Remember that ending on my good notes thing?
Yeah.
Fellow peers of the jury, groupie judge, oddly sexual, active spectator pigeons. This man heading the prosecution. Jack me Wang. Wants to show you through evidence in the prosecution of Coke that I was directly involved in the breaking and defaming of the untapped private areas of Democratic headquarters of Watergate. And then I tried to cover up the breaking with my awe-inspiring presidential powers and numerous persuasions. This is not so. I prove to you that I am completely innocent and deserve a nice double lunch out on the beach with the curvy Monica Lewinsky, where some heavy petting may be due.
Can the prosecution please bring forth his first witness? Your cool face. For our first witness, we call Frank Willis. Do you swear to tell the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth, no lies, no fakes, and not to lay a gasser in my courtroom?
I do, and I love the gays. I don't even get where that fits in.
Please take your seat. Mr. Willis, what were you doing on June 17th, 1972?
Well, let's see. Can you be more specific? It's hard for me to remember exactly all my days due to my psychedelic tripping done with my homies. It was the night of the break. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I thought I was brought here as a witness on trial. I didn't do no breaking. No, not me. I was at work.
Mr. Willis, I'm talking about the Watergate break-in.
Oh, you're talking about a bunch of guys who came in looking for some Democratic private parts? Those guys were whack. I caught them up in the offices of some politician people.
What happened that night? And what did you see?
Well, I saw the door was messed with, so I went up to check things out. As I got to the floor where the five of them broke in, I started hearing.
Play through it. Play through it.
I started hearing loud, intimate animal noises.
Henry, come on, play through it. Let's go.
Coming from the Democratic people's offices. As I got closer, the noises got louder and louder, and when I opened the door, I saw something unforgivable. I saw them forcibly open and searching through the private part of the Democrats. They put screws to the nuts of the Democratic areas. I can't bear to remember such a breach of trust. It was just so horribly vivid. Oh my.
That is all. Thank you,
Mr. Willis, who did you say were in the break-in?
I told you folks already. I didn't do no break-in. I was with my parents at the Museum of Erotic Art of Drew Carey.
I'm talking about the alleged Watergate break-in.
Oh man, you got me scared there. I thought you was gonna ask me about the time me and Jimmy went to. Never mind. I don't remember all of their names, but I do remember some really whacked out names like Virgilio and Eugenio. I think they was like Ernie and Bert. You know, I think when I saw them inside Watergate, they were acting all erect and happy, singing their favorite songs while going at the private part.
Moving on, was I there? Did you see me?
No, I don't think so. But there was one time when I smoked the reefer that I could swear that you discoed with me.
Okay, so I was never there. Did you hear any mention of my name?
Man, it's like I told you. All that I heard was horrific sounds coming from the rooms where the abuse of the Democratic private parts happened.
I'd like to clarify to the jury and the aroused birds that from this witness there is no proof of my involvement, either directly or indirectly.
That's all. Thank you, Mr. Willis. Keep the peace.
Thank you, your cool face.
For our next witness, we call to the sit James W. McCord. Do you swear to tell the truth, only the truth and nothing but the truth, no lies, no fakes, and not to lay a gasset in my courtroom? And Sean, what you wearing?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have anything on.
Never mind. So you swear?
I do. Oh, that. I remember that. I do, and I swear to maintain the status and chill with the all-seen Beach Boys.
Please just take your seat and don't be just a piece of meat. Answer all the questions that you're asked and don't try and leave anything masked. Remember the oath to which you swore and don't view it as a chore. You must tell the truth and keep the cool, or else we'll lock you up, you sorry tool. There's one more thing for you to know, that above all else this you show, you must be groovy in every move and help him get up to prove. And the prosecution proceed.
Okay, Mr. McCord, can you state for the record of what you did for the Nixon president?
I was hired and worked for the committee for the re-election of the
What
president.
is that?
So you mean creep?
What?
Yes.
This phone, are you videotaping?
So you admit you are a creep?
Well,
Building on this, is it true that you were caught penetrating into the Democratic National Committee?
yes.
Can you describe in full detail the plan of how you penetrated this building?
At first, we tried to go through the left side, but this proved futile because we miscalculated, and that side was pure wall. No doors or windows the whole way up.
Okay, go on.
Next we tried to penetrate the private parts of the Democrats through the right side. This also proved futile, for they actually applied protection there, and we cannot penetrate it there. Then, finally, we concluded that the best way to penetrate the Democrats was from behind.
Alright. Exhibit A to the court.
So we then assembled our men and got our groove on the behind of the church. After this, Mr. Nixon added to the plan that after we got in and went through the sensitive areas of material, we would then, through the 5th floor window paint on the outer wall of the building, write Democrats 72, and then ditch the place.
Right over here. This is the 5th floor.
So this is what was supposed to happen.
Yes.
And what did Mr. Nixon have to do with this?
He orchestrated the whole violation and roughhousing of the described areas.
Thank you.
So, you're a creep.
According to Mr. Wang, yes.
You are a creep. Nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. McCord. You are dismissed like cheese sticks.
Good day.
Next we call to the stand Mr. Deep Throat himself.
Oh.
Who's Mr. D?
What is Mr. Deep Throat?
Never heard of him?
Can I be Mr. Deep Throat?
Wait till you understand what your job is, the witnesses.
I know, but there's one.
You're all three.
All right.
Do you swear to tell the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth? No lies, no fakes, and not to lay a gasser in my courtroom?
I do.
It's a fart, by the way.
Yeah, we kind of got that.
Furthermore, do you swear to always keep a set of shades and a pair of fuzzy dice in your car?
I swear on my camel sister's namesake.
Good. Carry on, Wayne.
Mr. Deep Throat, what knowledge do you have regarding the penetration of the private areas of the Democratic Party and the voters made by Mr. Nixon involving this lucid act?
Through my very special and secretive position, I was able to obtain very sensitive information about the sensitive boners committed by Mr. Nixon. I have knowledge firsthand from my
Simcha.
very special and secretive position that Mr. Nixon not only knew about and possibly ordered the Watergate break-in. I know through my very special and secretive position that Mr. Nixon also tried to cover up his actions and the actions of his minions.
So, Mr. Deep Throat, would you say that without the role of Mr. Nixon, this would not have happened?
Most certainly.
That is all.
How did you obtain this alleged information?
I cannot reveal to you the ways of my very special and secretive position.
That's so, then how do we know that your sources are reliable? How do we know that it's not you, Mr. Deep Throat, that made the boner?
Lies!
Nothing further.
Mr. Deep Throat, how are things with Mrs. Deep Throat?
It's pretty good. Things are going well. But I have to say, the name suits her very well.
Hey, that's not relevant.
All right.
Yes, his name was Mark Felt.
He has a
Had
very
to be fair,
deep
2005.
throat. Very deep throat.
Yeah.
Alright,
It
Mr.
was his
Deep
code
Throat,
name.
I'll catch you guys up here.
Sure thing, you meant.
It was the name that in his book.
Now I'm done.
For our last witness, we call to the stand Mr. Richard Nixon himself.
President Nixon, do you swear to tell the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth, no lies, no fakes, and not to lay a gasser in my courtroom?
I believe I do, but I've laid a gasser already.
Well, then I believe we can technically proceed. Please, yeah.
Very well.
Mr. Richard Nixon, or may I call you Dick? Was it indeed your boner that described by Deep Throat responsible for the penetration and banging up of the private parts of the Democratic opposition?
That is a truly offensive allegation. I, as President of the United States, can never make a boner that big.
You deny any knowledge of 5 men, 5 creeps who belong to your creep committee and entering the Democratic headquarters.
Correct. I deny any involvement and deny that anything that happened that night, that nothing was a result of a boner of mine.
If so, then why did you try to hide a boner of any sort? Why did you try to cover this boner that has erected into a marvelous scandal instead of coming clean about the problem in your group and facing minimal consequences?
Because a public boner is embarrassing in the meeting, no matter how small or large, in my case.
No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. Please do step down. Mr. Nixon, if you would give, please, your closing words of wisdom. Oh, and keep it cool.
All right, then. The prosecution, Mr. Wang, has brought several witnesses to face my credibility. The allegations that they brought against me and proved can be disproven or disregarded, and I can prove this. Now, the first witness that they brought, Frank Wills, did not bring anything in his testimony that proves my direct involvement in this onerous scandal, and he's completely out of black. The next witness brought forth Mr. McCord as a creep at his own admission, thereby totally destroying his credibility. Third witness that the prosecution brought, Mr. Deep Throat, cannot be trusted for 2 reasons. Firstly, it does not reveal sources, and secondly, his name is Deep Throat, showing us that his loyalties do not lie in the courtroom, but another type of room. It is for these reasons that I tell you that you cannot find me guilty, for I am innocent until proven guilty and have not been proven so.
Prosecution?
To the jury, from the witnesses brought forth, we have proved a few facts. Our first witness, Mr. Wills, proved that there was indeed a penetration, violation, and abuse of the private parts of Mr. Nixon's foes. Mr. McCord relayed to us that this mission was carried out with full consent of Mr. Nixon, proving that it was his mistake. Then Mr. Deep Throat confirmed this, and further informed us that Dick Nixon not only knew and ordered the penetration, but covered up on purpose, as well for his own sake. Things of the jury. These facts are irrefutable and undeniable, and the one thing you should take with you and remember is that resulting from the Deep Throat, Dick's boner resulted in the violating penetration of his foe's private parts.
Has the multi-ethnic, multi-species, and multi-fashion jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. On account of impeachment, we find the defendant not guilty. And on the account of keeping up the party code, we find the defendant guilty.